Rockstar gang, what's up? What's up? What's up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you pound that like button on your way in, guys. Feel free to join the Discord. The link tree is down below for all the links for the Discord link. Also, the my links above here, like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, they're all up there. You can follow me there as well. And of course, the sponsorship of today's live stream is always BetUSA. Manscaped is on the way, though. Manscaped sponsorship is on the way, so be on the lookout for that, guys. All right. So appreciate everyone joining. I hope everyone is having a beautiful Tuesday. It has been a whirlwind of emotions over here at the Rockstar Report with this whole ordeal of, starting off 0-4 this season, man. Just starting off 0-4. So we're going to dive into a lot of things today. We're going to be talking about obviously some news and updates with the team. We're also going to be talking about the early challenges, really assessing this coaching staff, the quarterback situation, the offensive strategies. Then we're going to dive into some wide receiver targets that we could potentially target. And then we're going to also be talking about guys that maybe the Carolina Panthers should or could trade, obviously, to help with the situation that we are in right now. Because right now it seems like that might be one or the only solution to fixing our problems, right? Obviously, I think there's some other things that need to be fixed as well. I mean, the thing is like I watched Q last night over there at the Black Cat Panther podcast. Shout out to those guys, man. They always do a great show, and we've collabed, and we even met in person a couple weeks back again in this during the Monday night game in Saints. And I get it. The film does not lie about the problems that do lie with Bryce Young. But the problems, I still believe that they lie beyond Bryce Young's, right? Like, I broke down Bryce's thing yesterday and gave you my observations of what I thought how he played against the Minnesota Vikings, right? The problem is that yes, he has hesitant decision-making. Yes, the offensive line is giving him some time to throw the ball. Yes, they are doing better in that aspect of things, but they are doing us no favors when it comes to creating run lanes. And when you create run lanes, it takes the pressure off the Panthers offense. But the problem is also that I don't feel like a lot of people are realizing either is that the conservative play calling that they are doing is holding Bryce back as well. And it doesn't help when your wide receivers aren't creating separation either. But when you are being a conservative play caller, you are limiting your quarterback to his abilities. And I think that when it comes to that kind of ordeal, you have to open up the playbook and open up the playbook to Bryce's ability and his playmaking skills, not to the fact of what you want, Frank Wright, right? So you cannot limit these guys, man. You just cannot limit your players. You shouldn't be calling plays for one player, anyways. Last time I checked, football was a team sport. I don't understand that play calling. Someone please explain that to me in the chat, guys. Feel free to get in the chat. Love to hear y'all's thoughts. We're gonna get right into it today. News, reaction, trade rumors. Like I said, we're gonna be talking it all up. So Miles Sanders coming out talking about the fans' criticism, and he's criticizing the fans. I mean, here's the thing, man. You haven't done nothing, first off, Miles Sanders. You have done nothing to prove to me that you are anything what you were at the Philadelphia Eagles. Number one, let's all be honest here. You're getting let's also be, if he wants to criticize us, well, I'm going to criticize him, because here's the thing. You're getting outplayed by Chuba Hubbard, who's never even had a 1,000-yard season, bro. And you're getting outplayed by him right now. Chuba Hubbard in this offense is a better running back than he is. We saw it. Go look at the stats in the past 4 games. Chuba Hubbard's outplaying Miles Sanders by a long shot. So let's all be honest here, right? Let's all be honest with ourselves, okay? Chuba Hubbard is getting outplayed. Chuba Hubbard's outplaying Miles Sanders. So for you to criticize fans, Miles Sanders, start playing better. Okay. I mean, again, I will say our offensive line is doing us no favors to open up run lanes. But at the same time, we're criticizing not the team. We're not criticizing you as a player, Miles. We're really I think a lot of people are criticizing our organization for the offseason moves that we were promised, the playbook that we were promised, all these things that we were promised, right, in the offseason, and we just got, bullshitted, right? We got a GM who I think's a snake in the grass. I think we've got a owner who says he won't accept mediocre, but yet has still ever since he's gotten here has accepted 5-12, 7-10, right? So, but in the end, these fans are booing because they're tired of this poor performance, the poor offensive performance, Miles. So yeah, they're going to boo. Right? I mean, with these offensive struggles, us fans are expressing our frustrations. That's why y'all come on here. I see you in the chat. Y'all are frustrated. I see it every single time, at least right now. Right? I get it. And I'm frustrated too. But Sanders took issue to our reaction but because fans were booing them in the stands. Miles Sanders, were we booing you particularly? No. We're kind of booing the whole organization right now, and Frank Wright and this coaching staff. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I mean, let me know in the chat. Guys, make sure you pound the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Love to hear y'all's thoughts. Get in the comment section, guys. I love to hear y'all's thoughts. I see that there's a couple people watching right now. We had a big show yesterday. I mean, there was over 31 people in here at one point. So make sure you pound that like button. Get in the comment section. Love to hear y'all's thoughts. But anyways, and share the live as well. That always helps out too. Just sharing the live also definitely helps out a lot. So I appreciate everybody who comes and supports and everything like that. So anyways, let's get right. Oh, next thing. Okay, so let's talk about Austin Corbett's prognosis right now. Obviously, we're all hopeful that our veteran interior offensive lineman Corbett will be ready soon and will return soon. Because right now he's still on the physically unable to perform list right now. Obviously know he's recovering from an ACL tear, which could provide much needed stability to our offensive line. So I'm hoping Corbett can have a nice return and, hopefully soon. And maybe that could be maybe he could be the key to the solution to maybe our run game. Right. And then obviously Frank Wright's rallying cry. I mean, he's trying to do everything he can to rally this team and this fan base. Obviously, being 0-4 to the start of the season. I mean, when you have 4 consecutive losses, challenging games ahead with Detroit and Miami before the bye week. He's obviously trying to build the team up, get some growth and development, trying to turn things around. And obviously things aren't bright right now. I just don't see us turning things around right now. There's going to have to be some moves that need to be made. And honestly, I hate to say it though, even if we do make these moves and to target these wide receivers and the things that we're going to be talking about later on in the show, it doesn't make sense to me because our front office still seems to not be confident. I don't feel confident enough in this front office for them to make the right moves. And whether that means that Tepper needs to get rid of Scott Fitter and needs to, you know, either let Dan Morgan start making the calls and let him be the GM, or you bring in another guy like Adam Peters over there in San Francisco, a guy like that, right? And whether we need to fire our scout team because they've done us no favors with bringing in talent and scouting out talent through the draft, right, and through free agency, right? And then, of course, so beyond that, we also got to talk about the fact that Wright needs to open up the playbook and he needs to let Thomas Brown cook. He needs to let Thomas Brown bring those creative mindset of Sean McVay over to here who can create new schemes, creativity, because that's what Thomas Brown learned from. He learned from a offensive-minded head coach and one of the best in the NFL. And even with the team that the Rams have, look at them. They're 2-2, but yet they are still. Look at Matthew Stafford at the age he is, and he's still slinging it. And he's still getting, and he's got guys that are nobodies out there at wide receiver, and they're getting separation because of the creative play calling. You can create separation based off of your play calling. And I think that's also an issue. That's the reason why I think it's also been the reason why we've seen, to Q's point last night, because I was watching their show. To Q's point last night, he is right. Q is right. The film does not lie. But at the end of the day, you also need to be having play calling that introduces the strategic thinking for your quarterback. Like that. So I've always said this, right? Styles wins fights, guys, right? Josh, thank you for joining the live stream. I see your comment. I'm going to get to you in a minute. Styles wins fights. So in football, schemes fit certain players, whether it's defense or offense. Especially in the quarterback position, there are certain systems. And I think every quarterback's a system quarterback because you can't just say one is a system quarterback. You can't just say Tom Brady is a system quarterback. You can't say Tua Tagovailoa is a system quarterback. You can't say, or you can't just say 1-1 is just a system quarterback. Yeah, they all have God-given talents, but each and every one of them fit in a certain system. I truly believe that. Styles wins fights. Conor McGregor said that. That's a quote from Conor McGregor, and it's the same way in football. Same thing in UFC, right? Styles wins fights, and he's right, and that's proven over time in the UFC. It's the same thing here in football, right? What's up, Clay? If they want to change Wright, has to call multiple different plays and open up the playbook for Bryce, in my opinion. That's exactly what I'm saying. Right? You need to open up the playbook to Bryce's playmaking abilities. But at the end of the day, Bryce also has to stop being so hesitant with the football. He needs to have better ball security and start making quicker decisions. And if he does that, we will see the Bryce Young that we saw in the Alabama days. But until he does that, and until Wright does the same thing, does his part, you're going to continue to see Bryce underachieve. That's what I truly believe in. They run, and that's another thing, Josh. Frank Reich continues to run away from running the football. And I get it. It's not efficient. It's not doing anything. We efficiently cannot run the football. And that's okay. I mean, I get that. But at the same time, when you had a guy like Chuba Hubbard who ran 14 times for 41 yards, right? But then you kept Miles Sanders in there who ran the ball 13 times and only got 19 yards. Go with the hot hand. Like, yes, split the carries if you want to. Maybe put Chuba in there for the first or second downs, right, and give him the ball. Run that inside zone if you want to with him. But then throw Miles Sanders out there the third down, or, when you're going to do check down flats, whatever, screen plays to him, whatever. That's what you're going to use Miles Sanders for because he's a pass catching back. But use Chuba Hubbard as your guy to plow through the middle because he's the one who's getting yardage through the middle, not Miles Sanders. All right, another news and update. Panthers trade possibilities. We're going to be talking more about that here shortly. But, as the Panthers, we face a tough We're facing obviously an obstacle here. We're obviously being 0-4. We got two big games before the bye week: Detroit, Miami. Right, two teams who are very above par and above where we are. Right, as we want to be. Right, we lack a first round draft pick in 2024, and there's speculation about whether they should consider trading Brian Burns. And this move, honestly, guys, I'm getting to the point that I think it could help really replenish our draft capital because at this point, who else are you going to trade on this team and get a first round pick because you don't have one in 2024? So it comes up, and I get it. It comes with its own set of challenges and risk doing so. I get that. Okay. I totally get it. But we are navigating through a difficult season already, and these are tough decisions that you have to make, right? The problem is I just don't trust this front office to make the right decisions. But also at the same time, what else do we have to lose at this point? Because tough decisions may lie ahead because we're trying to seek our fortunes right now, and we have yet to do so. Q, see you in the chat, man. I appreciate your show last night. I'm glad you broke down that film. Part of me believes some of the things you said last night. And I think part of it was also you being out of frustration, but the film doesn't lie either. But Q, I do want to say this to you because I know you're listening and you're in the chat. Part of it is Bryce's fault. The hesitancy is there. The decision making is there that he is struggling with, right? Holding on to the ball for too long. But Frank Wright's play calling has to change because he's the one that is hurting Bryce because he is not opening up the playbook to Bryce's playmaking abilities, right? At the end of the day, yes, Bryce needs to do better. I want to reflect this to you, Q, because I know you're in the chat and I know you're listening. The things that Bryce needs to work on, though, is ball security, right? Right? The ball security, right? Because if he can maintain ball security, make quicker decisions, that will improve the offensive efficiency, right? So the hesitant decision-making's got to stop for him. But also the problem is that our clock management has been absolutely abysmal. These clock managing issues that we've seen need to be addressed because if they can improve communication between this coaching staff and quicker decision-making processes, that can help move the chains effectively, particularly in those critical moments. Okay. Now, the conservative play calling, though, let's get back to that's a growing issue at this time for this team because you need to unleash Young's playmaking his abilities to allow him to be more creative, especially when the defense is performing well. Okay. All right. And then, but the thing is that our offensive struggles, guys, I want to make this clear. Okay. It extends beyond Bryce Young. Okay. Yes. Bryce Young's going to take the accountability because he's a leader. He's our quarterback. And it's evident that this Panthers offense is facing challenges. But the play calling appears predictable, in my opinion. The defense often anticipates the offensive play calls, and then particularly when Young checks out of plays. So the team's wide receiver options, aside from Adam Thielen, have appeared obviously abysmal, in my opinion. I think we have one of the worst wide receiver cores in the NFL. Okay. The only bright spot on this offense right now has been Adam Thielen. Okay. So then rethinking of his wide receiver core is going to be one thing. Additionally, the offensive line has struggled. They've made it particularly difficult for even talented players like Akeem Kwanu to provide necessary stability, right? Because they've have done no favors for Bryce to open up run lanes, to take some pressure off of Bryce. And so when you can't run the ball effectively, it puts more pressure on your quarterback. Go look at these other teams and see how well they're running the ball. Now, some of these guys, right? Some of these teams, they're just playing to the quarterback's skill sets, right? System. Okay. But at the same time, you also still need to be able to run the ball effectively to take that pressure off your quarterback, especially a rookie. So there needs to be an offensive adjustment, and there needs to be a potential shift in responsibilities when it comes with this coaching staff, and that's what I'm referring to. Thomas Brown needs to take over. And I will say this once, and I will say this again. Frank Wright, become a game managing head coach. You can still be a quarterback guru that you're so called to be, but be a game managing head coach. Don't be a play caller, because your play calling is very predictable. But Q, I also agree with some of the things you said too about Bryce. So it's also beyond Bryce. There's multiple factors here and two of the reasons why this team is where it's at. 60% of passing plays were behind the line of scrimmage, screen plays. And I think they were running those screen plays, Josh, just to, I guess, it's almost like they were running screen plays to maybe effectively run the ball in some sort of way. I mean, I get, because sometimes screen plays are considered run plays, right? Some people consider those technically run plays, right? It's weird, but those screen plays are just not effective. It was not effective. It was predictable. It was the checkdowns was just starting to add up. All right, so my week, I wanted to go over this real quick with you guys. Look at this, my picks. I went. Let's see, how many games? Oh, I didn't put an X on the Carolina one because I picked Carolina to win, but that's okay. But how many did I miss? So I missed one. How many games do we got here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so we got 16 games, right? And I had Carolina, so I went 10-6 in my week 4 picks, guys. I went 10-6. So not bad. Not bad. Could have been better. But I just wanted to go over that real quick. I should have put an X on the Carolina game because I picked Carolina to win this week. So, but you know, this is what it is. So we're gonna go. We'll always do some week 4 picks. I'll do my power rankings on TikTok as well, and I'll try to get that on YouTube as well here soon. All right, assessing the early season challenges, guys. Let's get right into this. So the thing is that obviously with a winless start to the season, obviously there are some concerns surrounding both the coaching staff, Bryce Young. So I want to dive into this a little bit closer, okay? First things first is the offseason hype. Throughout the offseason, there was much made of this Panthers well-coached team, ideally suited for rookie quarterback success. Blah, 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 bullshit, excuse after excuse, right? Now, as we approach the fifth game of the season, doubts are emerging that both The quarterback that we chose, Bryce Young, and head coach Frank Reich. Now the question is, guys, is it too early to judge? Just because it's 4 games, right? Going to week 5. It could be maybe too soon to make definite assessments, but there's no denying that this team's performance has been absolutely abysmal, right? Atrocious. Again. The ground game is struggling. The passing game just seems absent, right? Okay. Over reliance on short passes has been a significant concern to me, because if you go and watch the game film against the Vikings, Young completed 13 of 25 passes at or behind the line of scrimmage. So while there are strategic reasons for such plays, they failed to adjust when they aren't working, and that is a concern, especially for an experienced coaching staff. That's what I'm saying. The play calling is absolutely atrocious. It's predictable. Now, urgency lacking. Critical moments in the game, such as the end of the first half and the final drive, definitely highlighted a lack of urgency for this team, guys. Okay? Mismanagement of timeouts, precious seconds ticking away were evident. While it's early to question Reich's position, improvement is needed. We need adaptation, is the word I'm looking for. We need some adaptation. To succeed, this coaching staff must adapt. That's what I'm getting at here. Receivers are struggling to get open, so they should devise creative ways to create opportunities. If the running game falters, adjustments should be made, including committing to the run early in games. But then there's some dynamics that need to be also adjusted. This coaching staff's ability to work cohesively and identify and resolve these issues is crucial, because if not, the promising future of this team in the Panthers, once envisioned, is going to take a dark turn. More than it already has. Some of you might have already hit the panic button. I'm very close. It's literally right here. My hand's ready to hit it, right? Because this coaching staff must step up and find solutions to these early season challenges to turn the tide in their favor. Because if they don't, they're going to be, I have a feeling that it's going to be a clean house sweep here soon. I really do. I really think that it's going to be rebuild mode automatically, and we're going to fire Scott Fitterer. We'll probably fire Frank Reich, because if he does not win a game, how can you be an owner in the NFL and go 0-17? How can you be an owner and it's said that you weren't going to accept mediocre, but yet you've continued to do that since you've been the owner? And you've done nothing to fix any of that. Now, Scott Fitterer, you're on the hot seat. Frank Reich soon to be there. But the play calling has to change. I think that's going to be the biggest adjustment at this point right now, is that has to change. This conservative bullshit play calling, this predictable ass Madden play calling, because that's what it is. It literally, Frank Reich's out there hitting the A button, B button, X, Y, with a controller playing Madden. That's what kind of play calling I compare this to, honestly, guys. There's 11 people watching. Feel free to get in the chat, guys. Love to hear y'all's thoughts. Appreciate everyone joining. Make sure you pound that like button. Goes a long way. Happy Tuesday to everyone, by the way. I hope everyone's having a blessed day. So, these challenges have to be fixed. Adjustments need to be made. whether it's you making trades or whether it's you fixing it as a coaching staff. Anthony Brown in the chat. What's up, man? Josh is in the chat. Q's in the chat. Shout out to all of y'all in the chat. Appreciate everyone joining. Hope everyone, like I said, I hope everyone's having a blessed Tuesday. It's a beautiful morning here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Oh, I am going to go enjoy the outdoors today. After I go to the gym, I'm going to go to the gym after this and enjoy the day and get some work done and while I'm outside and stuff like that. Which y'all should too. But some of y'all, I know, everybody has their own things going on. So, guys, if you're joining from Twitter or YouTube, wherever it may be, make sure you like, subscribe, share the live, get in the chat. Love to hear y'all's thoughts, man. We were just going over some news. My week 4 picks. There should have been an X on Carolina. Those are the ones with the X's is the ones I got wrong. And then we were just going over accessing the early season challenges for this team. It's kind of just, I feel like I've kind of been like repeating myself almost. I feel like a broken record player because that's the only thing I really have to talk about this team is what we're doing wrong and what we're not doing right. Right. And what we didn't do this offseason and what we should have done this offseason. And honestly, what else do I have to talk about this team? Right. What else is there for me to talk about? Well, I got something for you guys. I actually have 2 great segments today for you guys, and I think you're going to enjoy this next one. Trade targets, wide receiver trade targets. All right. Some of these I'm all about. Okay. Josh, when can Corbett come back? His prognosis right now says that he could be returning soon. I'm thinking that they might wait until he comes back. I think they might hold him back until the bye week. So he's like 100% completely good to go because an ACL injury is not something you want to tangle with, right? You don't want to, overdo it and come back from it, right? You know what I mean? So, when you put a guy on the IR, right, at the beginning of the season, he has to miss the first 4 games, which he has. So he might be able to make a comeback this week, but I don't know if he's fully ready, right? I don't know the prognosis on him yet. And so, what I want to know is, with practice and all that, will we hear that Austin Corbett practiced today, right? I mean, could that be something that we may hear? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So we'll see. We will see. All right. So these are some wide receiver trade targets. Some of these guys, these are the ones that I could see it based off of rumors of them not being happy or whether they're going to be free agents next year or, they're looking for a home right now. They're ready to get out of where they're at, right? Whatever, the situations are all different. Hunter Renfrow, obviously, he just kind of keeps it to himself, but we've heard about this Chase Claypool thing. Tyler Boyd's going to be a free agent next year. Devontae Adams doesn't seem happy over there in Vegas. We know Jared Judy's definitely not happy over there in Broncos country. So, the Panthers could consider Hunter Renfrow. He's a reliable slot receiver option. I know that we've got I know that we have obviously Thielen right now, but I feel like Renfro's ability to create separation is something that we need to go ahead and just say the guy is a stud. Okay. Hunter Renfrow actually is from my area. Okay. If none of y'all don't know that, Hunter Renfrow went to Soxie High School. He's from the Myrtle Beach area and played at Clemson. So I've seen the guy play from high school all the way up. But he also played quarterback at Soxie High School. He also played linebacker and he played wide receiver. He played multiple positions there at Soxie. He was kind of like one of those guys that was all over the field. But he was just so good at wide receiver, right? Because he can create separation. But he's a dependable target, especially when it comes to critical situations, man. I've seen the guy make play after play. And he just, and honestly, guys, when I saw him in high school, when I saw Hunter Renfrow in high school, I never thought that he was going to be as he was, right? Because he didn't seem nothing special. He didn't seem nothing like overly athletic, and he seemed like a goofy looking guy. But dude, when he's on the field, it's different. But given the fact that turmoil in Vegas, like I said, I think Renfrow could be available soon. While he may not be a true number one wide receiver, right, that we want, but he could be a valuable addition, right? He's a guy that's going to get open. Okay. Mad Chatter, what's up? Appreciate you joining the live stream. Anthony Brown's in here saying, remember when we started the season 07 and went on a winning streak? So I believe we'll still have a good season. Anthony Brown, I appreciate that positivity, man, because that's what I need right now. So thank you for that. Marcos Cash, what up? Appreciate you joining the live stream. Guys, we're at 18 people are in here in the live stream right now. We only had 11 likes. 19 people are in here now. Only at 11 likes. There's no reason why we shouldn't be at 19 likes. I would greatly appreciate it if you pound that like button like it owes you money, okay? It helps out the channel tremendously. Tremendously. You don't understand. It brings people in and we can grow this community. Renfrow has great hands, just another Thielen. We need a playmaker, not an additional rotational piece. Yeah, I would just mention him just because I think he would be a great additional piece. I get it. 12 Mal. What is that? 12 more? I'm Mr. Clean. I'm not sure what that means. 12 MOW. If we move pieces, who are the core pieces to keep? Okay, we're going to dive into that, Mad Chatter. We're going to dive into that here shortly. All right. Guys, make sure you pound that like button. JSK is in the chat. What's up, man? Rock Jones, thanks for the comment. Likes meaning 12. Oh, 12. Okay, likes. Appreciate that. Okay, Jared Judy. Okay. So if we aim a little bit higher, Jared Judy, Denver Broncos, I think it's an intriguing option. He's also had some medical issues. I don't think anything I don't know. What has Jared Judy had? Has he? That's the only thing. I know he's had medical issues, but I could not remember if he tore his ACL. I know he has injury issues, and that's the only, but he's very good. That's the problem. Let me look up his injury history real quick. Oh my God, he has had a couple of injuries. Knee meniscus tear, chest rib sprain, pulled shoulder, pedal ankle sprain, groin pull, chest sprain, okay, hamstring strain. He missed, how many games does he miss? Meniscus went under surgery to repair, so that was in 2018, so that was basically a full season. Ribs in the second quarter of the game, didn't miss any game, so didn't miss any game there. Played in week 10 of 2020 and with a shoulder injury, questionable week 12 game against the second, but played. Suffered a right ankle sprain in week 1 in 2021, was placed on IR, missed 6 games. Okay. So he's had a pretty interesting injuries. Yeah. Marcos Cash, Kelvin Benjamin. I didn't put Kelvin Benjamin. Oh, Kelvin Benjamin 2.0. Who's that? Chase Claypool? Because I know that ain't Devontae Adams. But I think Jared Judy, even though would be an intriguing option, just because Denver struggles to lead player movement, right? Judy's talent is undeniable. Even though I know he's got a little bit of an injury history, he excels in route running. He possesses exceptional ball skills. I think acquiring him would likely require significant draft capital, I think, unfortunately, but his potential partnership with Bryce Young could be a game changer for us. you know. Um, yeah, JSK, I know the meniscus is it's one of those things that could happen again. Yeah. It could happen again, guys. It could. These injuries are bad, man. The injury bugs are terrible. Another one, Tyler Boyd. Obviously, Cincinnati Bengals are going to be facing a lot of decisions regarding their wide receiver core. Jamar Chase seeking a big contract extension. The situation could leave either T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd available for trade. Both players are set to become free agents in 2024. And I think if the Panthers believe they can help, they might pursue one of them. I mean, I know I don't have T. Higgins up here, but T. Higgins is also a guy. I mean, we've already talked about him being a potential trade target as well. Another one is obviously with Devontae Adams. Still the same thing. Las Vegas, they're experiencing turmoil. Devontae Adams has expressed his desire to be somewhere for more stable and winning environment. I don't know if this would be the place for you, Devontae, right now. Let's be honest with ourselves. But it would be a significant move for us. And it's not impossible, but it would take I think it could take a decent amount of draft capital, obviously. Adams could have been a Panther early in his career, but we chose to take Popeye's chicken instead. So if the opportunity arises, right, acquiring him could be worth considering. Okay. Chase Claypool, basically Popeye's chicken all over again. He has just been rocky. I mean, he's better than what we have between, I would say, at least Terrace Marshall. He's better than, I would say, Jonathan Mingo right now. I mean, obviously, you probably wouldn't have to probably give much away for him, but he is. I do agree with you. I see you guys in the comments. I agree. He is a locker room catastrophe waiting to happen. I get it. Okay. Obviously, the Bears are open to trading him, apparently. They're open to having an early day 3 draft pick. I would tell them to go kick rocks for an early 3-day draft pick. I'd give a 7th round pick for him. That's about it. Maybe a 6th, but that's about as high as I'm going, right? He has some upside. I will say that it does make him intriguing because there has been signs of him back when he was in his Pittsburgh days of like how good he was. Who could use I'm not going to use a 2nd round selection to get this kind of guy though, right? I don't see him being that kind of guy. So obviously there are some critical decisions making because we need to improve this issue, at least from the wide receiver standpoint, right? Obviously we don't know. Everything's uncertain. Mid-season trade for a talented wide receiver. I mean, could it be the offensive spark that we desperately need? Maybe. I mean, it might not fix every issue, right? Because like I've said, it's multiple things that I'm issuing here that we have struggled with. And until then, time will only tell, guys. Time will only tell. There's multiple issues going on with this team. Okay. But building up your roster is always an improvement, right? But can our front office make the right deal and not mess it up? That's the question. Can our front office not mess it up? You know what I mean? So, guys, appreciate everyone joining the live stream again. I appreciate everybody. Make sure you join the Discord. The link tree is down below in the description of this live stream. Also, the link tree also has all of my social media up there, as you can see. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, it's all down there. Go check it out. Follow me there. Also, check out betusa.com. The link is in there as well. Sign up for free today. Get 125% bonus. All right. I think this week, guys, when I do my week 5 picks, we'll put in a parlay. If y'all want to do that with me, let me know in the comments now. Maybe we'll do it on Wednesday. Tomorrow, maybe we'll do it tomorrow, or we'll do it on Thursday before the games start. We'll put a parlay in. We'll put the 16 game parlay for $5. All right, and I'll show you how the Bet USA thing works. All right, so I'll show you all how to do that when we do the week 5 picks. Okay. So those are some trade targets, I think, for at least from the wide receiver position. Let me see. Okay, this is a good question. Would you do Miles Sanders and a third for DJ Moore back? Absolutely. In a heartbeat. In a freaking heartbeat. Because then you look at that wide receiver core, you get a guy just like DJ Moore, and then you have DJ Chark, then you and then you have Thielen. I would absolutely do it. Grim Reaper with a $5 dono. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate that, bro. God, that goes a long way, guys. Shout out to him. Shout out to freaking Grim Reaper. Appreciate you, Grim Reaper. Thank you so much. Thank you for the $5 dono. Goes a long way. So anyways, look at him. Grim Reaper coming in hard. I love it. RKO out of nowhere right there. RKO out of nowhere. All right, let's move on. Players that the Panthers should or could. I should put could in here, but it's all good. Should or could consider trading. Oh, shoot. Wait. Sorry about that. Boom. Some of you may agree with this. Some of you may not. Okay. But I get it. We are finding ourselves at some crossroads here, guys. And we're going to have to start making some decisions here. Okay. We're going to have to start making some decisions here soon if things do not improve. Okay. We have to think about our future. We have to think about what we need to do. All right. And we don't have a first round pick next year. Right. There's things that we are going to have to consider, and there's some tough decisions that are going to have to be made. Okay. Now, I would love nothing more than to keep 3 guys on here. There's 3 guys on this that I do want to keep, but you also have to consider them as trade pieces because of their value, because they are going to be the ones that are going to be able to get you the most value. So you do have to consider that. Okay. But there's 3 guys on this I would not trade away and try to build around. And it's obviously on the defensive side, and it's Chin, Luvu, Birds. Okay. Obviously keep Derek Brown too. Derek Brown's another guy I would build around. But those 3 guys right there, those 4 guys are the guys you want to keep and build around, at least from the defensive standpoint. Offensive standpoint, there's only minimal guys I'm going to build around with, right? So, but these are guys. We basically have a first round pick right now at yeah, Josh, I know. If Scott was good, he would have moved out Sanders, Team J, and picked for more. They are not winning anything anytime soon. Yep, it's not no lie. All right, so let's get right why we would trade these guys, or we could trade these guys, right? Obviously Dalton. He has shown he can still ball. He can still play, right? The quarterback position is showing he is a reliable performer. Obviously, he was benched in favor of rookie Bryce Young. We all know that. And if this team seeks a stable, if a team who's seeking a stable quarterback in need, like the Jets is definitely one, right? Dalton's experience could be valuable, right? Even though it's a frustrating situation for him. Then you can bring in a guy to back up Bryce. But I even said in my yesterday's thing that I would rather start Dalton the rest of the year and sit Bryce out because we've done him no favors. I feel like this front office is going to ruin him because we're just throwing him to the wolves at this point. But if you trade Andy Dalton, the value is there, right? The value for the trade that you could get for him is there. Same thing with Jeremy Chin. Obviously, a rising star. But he kind of seems like a misfit in this defensive system, guys. Even though he had a great game last game, I still feel like there's just something missing there with him. The way that now that Evero is running this defense. So obviously entering his final year of his contract, he could be a trade candidate if the Panthers can want to secure some draft capital, right? Dante Jackson, y'all know why I'm saying go ahead and trade this guy. Injury prone. Yes, he's got some speed, but he is absolutely atrocious this year. He's had his ups and downs, but he's had too many downs. All right. And he has absolutely struggled this season. So it might be a good time to explore a trade for him because if you can find a suitable offer, though his $15.81 million salary could be a deterrent for him, right? It's going to that massive amount of money could be the issue, right? I mean, obviously, in the NFL, you can maneuver the cap. We all know that, right? You can maneuver the cap anytime, guys. It's been for years, right? So Terrace Marshall, obviously a guy that I thought was going to break out this year. I thought that maybe we would see some progression off of last year because he did progress, but he just has continued to fail, meet expectations this season. Waste of a second round pick. Obviously, if the Panthers decide to make significant offensive changes, trading Marshall to a team willing to take on his potential could be an option, right? Another thing is Luvu. Now, this one is tough for me, and I hate saying it, but he is a valuable asset to this defense, but he is seeking a significant extension too. And I think, if a team offers a substantial compensation for this man, the Panthers might consider trading him, although it would be a tough decision given how he has contributed to this team, right? Brian Burns, another guy, we talked about it a little bit earlier. They have struggled to reach a contract extension with him. You choose not to re-sign him this offseason. You refused to trade him away last year when you had a 2 first and second round pick from the Rams, right? But now Burns is set to become a free agent in 2024. So then you're trading him for valuable compensation might be a logical move because especially the Panthers acknowledge the need for a rebuild, which we're basically almost to that point, right? The red button that says rebuild, panic, or / panic. Maybe you have two, right? Rebuild, panic, right? Or panic, rebuild, right? You got them side by side, right? Those buttons are about to be pushed, right? I mean, they're if I have both of them right now, I'm my hand's shaking, ready to hammer them, right? While these trade scenarios obviously depend on various factors, right, guys? Like we can talk about that all day, but including the team performance, compensation, contract situations. These are some decisions that can secure our future in a good way. But do I trust our front office to make that right decision? Do I trust this front office to make the right decisions? Because these moves made by the front office will be crucial in steering this franchise towards success. Because right now, without a first round pick in 2024, that's an issue. Let me get in the comment section. Let me hear y'all's thoughts here. Grim Reaper or sorry, the last chat. I see the last one I had up. Okay, Mad Chatter saying Colt McCoy can use to get us through a year or another veteran if we were offered a good pick for Dalton. I fear that even with some playmakers, some trades we might still be mid because of right play calling. The Mad Chatter to that one, what I would do is I would just trade because of the Jet situation. I'd reach out to the Jets and say, hey, is McCold Hardman happy there? Because I've heard he's not. You know what I mean? Maybe Alan Lazard. I mean, are they gonna really? I mean, is Lazard gonna wait till Rodgers comes back? Rodgers is done, guys. Let's be honest. I think Rodgers is done. I don't see Rodgers making a bounce back and thinking he's gonna come back after an Achilles tear. So I mean, if I'm trading anybody, Dalton to anybody, I'm trading him to the Jets right now and getting a Alan Lazard or McCold Hardman. You know, something like that. At least that's a decent wide receiver piece, or at least it could help. It helps out that at least it helps out that kind of ordeal. And then you pick somebody up in free agency. Hell, you may be able to even bring back Matt Corral. you know. But at least, if you trade Dalton, you might be able to get a wide receiver like a McCold Hardman or something out of it because the Jets are desperate. They will trade teams like what the Jets are in right now. They'll trade a piece like a Lazard or a McCold Hardman right now. I guarantee you they would. I fear that. So I'm getting the comments. So guys, if you sound off in the comments, I'll show your comment. I'll respond to you. This is not, I love doing this part. I love interacting with you guys. So make sure you pound the like button, getting in the chat. I love interacting with you guys. So please do so. Okay. I fear that even with some playmakers and some trades, we might still be mid because they're right. Calling Grim, you're not wrong. Till he hands over the reins to Thomas Brown, we'll still be mid at the play calling position, and it'll look like Madden all over again. Okay. I feel like if we go 0-6 before the bye week, we should trade Brian Burns, try to get some draft picks back. Yeah. I think that if we are 0-6, there has to be some trades made because that's the perfect time to make the trade, get guys in here, start getting them comfortable throughout the week, right? As we go into the bye week, that way you get the guys at least a week's time to get in, settled in. And then as you're leading into, right, week 7 after the bye week, it also gives them some extra days as well to get them settled in. So you definitely, if you want to make trades and you're 0-6, you got to do it at the bye week. I totally agree with that, Black Mama. Totally agree with that. Yeah, Burns has disappeared at times. I've noticed this year. He'll start off great, go really hard in the first half, right? But then the second half, we are not a second half team by any means. We are not a second half team by any means. We blew a halftime lead this last game. We blew a halftime lead. We were up 13-7, right? And absolutely blew it because our defense started giving up plays and then obviously couldn't produce points. So it's Frank Wright's play calling and it's Bryce Burns, Marcos Cash. It's a combination of both for sure. I still think that Bryce. I still think Bryce is good enough to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. I still think he has the capabilities of being a quarterback in the NFL. And I said it earlier. Styles wins fights. Systems, same thing. Styles wins fights in UFC, right? We've all seen that through the years in UFC. Okay. I follow the UFC. Okay. Styles wins fights. All right. Same thing in the NFL. Systems fit certain players. And the way that the play calling and the conservativeness is holding back, I think, Bryce a little bit. But his hesitation, decision making, and ball security is also an issue of his. But then the communication, clock management, that's also issues, right? But the predictable play calling is what's killing Bryce. The predictable play calling is really what's killing Bryce. Burns getting traded. We're going to trade for Jared Jeudy. Andre Jackson, I could honestly see that. I just don't think that Burns is worth just trading for a wide receiver straight up. I think that if you trade Burns, you should trade Burns for picks. You need draft capital. But I wouldn't be surprised if some bullshit like that happens. Some trade bullshit like that happens because Scott Fitter and our front office will mess it up. I don't, even though that these are things that we have to consider for our future in this team, I just don't trust this front office to make the right moves. I hope so, Andre. I'm in the bringing. Absolutely. So I'm totally about bringing in a wide receiver. Absolutely. But Getting these guys, getting the right guys to fit this system is the question mark. Appreciate everyone joining. Make sure you pound that like button. I would not trust Scott to manage my fantasy team. Matt Chatter, that might be the funniest thing you've ever said in this chat. That might have been the most funniest. That might have been the funniest thing you've ever said in this chat. That's pretty good. I wouldn't trust him with my fantasy team either. I started out 2-0 in fantasy, guys. Now I'm 2-2. Not starting my lineups correctly is my problem. Rogers has been done. Yeah, I told you. Mr. Clean, you agree with me. I appreciate that. I love to hear y'all agree with me sometimes. I think sometimes y'all don't. Oh, man. I hope everyone's having a blessed Tuesday. I'm getting in these chats with you guys. I love interacting with you. I'm not as low on wide receivers as most. We have three number twos, Chark, Mingo, Thielen, but number one, we need no more number two goods needed. I feel you. I mean, I think McCole Hardman's, I don't think he's a true number one, but I definitely think he could be a nice, speedy guy that can get open, create separation that kind of helps out the rest of the guys, right? I mean, that's what I was saying. McCole Hardman could be a guy like you could trade Dalton for. Or, if you want a big body guy, Steve Lazard was willing to move on from there, right? Who knows? They're filming Hard Knocks, and Rodgers will probably be back. Yes. He didn't seem too happy about Hard Knocks, but then he came out and said he was all about it. Well, it's not even Frank's play calling. Bryce kills every damn play. Well, when you also are checking down the ball and you're throwing the ball 25 times, either on the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage, you're trying that's the issue. I don't think Bryce kills every play. I think it's when you're checking down 25 times a game. The predictability of the offense is just it's unreal. I feel like Frank Wright's up. I mean, I feel like Frank Wright is on his sheet looking at like a Madden playbook. Like seriously, and just picking plays and going, okay, we're gonna hit A, we're gonna throw it to B, right? But like I've never heard, and chat, let me know if I'm wrong or if you've ever heard this. And if any of you have ever played football, have you ever heard a coach choose a play for one player and call it as an offensive coach? Have you ever heard that? That's what I want to know, chat. Have you ever heard a head coach literally pick a play for one player on the offensive side of the ball? That's what I want to know. Because I haven't. But correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, we're definitely going 0-6. I don't see us beating the Lions, much less the Miami Dolphins. Culture, there's zero here. Guys like Adam, Luvu want to build around. Yeah. Well, wait, Adam Thielen? Adam Thielen's 32. You can't build around him much longer. Oh, man. Marcos Cat. Oh, wait. Where was I at? Here we go. James Burns ain't playing like a 30 million year game changer like he wants to be. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, James. You trade him at this point. He starts out in the first half great, second half is slow. No one is scared of Bryce Young's arm. They were blitzing the safety on every play, basically. Yeah, I mean, the problem is that Bryce doesn't have a big arm, right? Him and Tua are probably arm strength wise, probably about the same. Like they're not throwing. Well, maybe not. Maybe I mean I don't know. Tua did throw some. He has thrown some bombs to Tyreek Hill, but Bryce Young's arm is definitely not made for deep passes, right? It's made for. I mean, he probably can throw the ball 50 yards, I'm sure, but it's really made for quick passes, dink and dunk kind of style of offense, right? Honestly, we need to be running like a Kansas. Honestly, if we're going to run anything kind of style of offense, you got to run like a Kansas City style of offense, right? Patrick Mahomes doesn't throw the ball very far, right? They're doing yards after the catch kind of plays. They're getting the ball out quick out of his hands. right? When you watch the Kansas City Chiefs, watch how that offense is. But now when Tyreek Hill was there, yes, they were able to get the ball out. He could throw deep passes with him, but he doesn't have that wide receiver core anymore, right? So everything is quick. He's getting the ball out quick, right? The decision making has to be quick. The ball security has to be great, right? So that's kind of the style of offense. If I'm running that, if I'm running it with the way that they're doing it there in Kansas City with Bryce. But we're not doing that. We're just not. The creativeness of this offense is absolutely like watching paint dry, and it's predictable, man. It's predictable. Yeah, that's when you have a coaching staff that is holding him back. In my opinion, I still think that the issue is beyond Bryce. I still think that the issue is that they're holding him back with the play calling. The conservative play calling is what is holding back to his abilities. Go walk. I'm telling you. You got to open up the playbook and get some creativeness going, and that's when you let Thomas Brown cook. Matt Chad Judy's not good enough. He's better than what we got. I will say that. That's all I got to say to that comment. We're trading Burns for Chase. Shit. There ain't no way that Cincinnati would trade Jamar Chase for Brian Burns. I guarantee it. They've got two great pass rushers. Did y'all not watch the Rams game with Cincinnati? Dude, Cincinnati's got two great pass rushers. They don't need Burns. There are two solid pass rushers. Now, would Burns be an improvement on at least for one of them? Absolutely. But they're killing it from the pass rush standpoint. AJ Brown, good for wide receivers for Burns. Shit. If we could get an AJ Brown for Burns, sure. But I doubt it. I just don't see it, man. I don't see these teams trading away a guy like that, an elite wide receiver for Burns. Plus, guys, AJ Brown, I don't know if I want an AJ Brown. I want a young wide receiver who's going to continue to be a stud for the next 5 years, right? Like if I'm trading Burns, I want to get a guy. If I'm going to get a wide receiver, I'm trading him for a guy that's going to be at his age, coming into his prime. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm trading Burns for if I'm going to get a wide receiver out of it. Seeker, we talked about Chase Claypool. We were talking about guys that we could go after, right? I mean, so Chase Claypool's another Bojangles or no Popeye's chicken. You know what I mean, dude? I mean that's the thing, man. Like our wide receiver core, these cornerbacks of these opposing teams are like, oh, this is going to be barbecue chicken, just like Shaq used to say, barbecue chicken. That's what these opposing defenses see in this wide receiver room. That's going to be barbecue chicken all day. Same thing with and then they see a rookie quarterback throwing the ball, barbecue chicken. You know what I mean? No, and my coach was saying, yeah, my last head coach told me to knock their dick in the dirt. He told me to and like grab dudes by the balls. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing that. Last time I played football, I was like, hell no. This issue here is Frank isn't trusting Bryce. The issue is Frank is a control freak. Part of it's that, I think. Part of it's also that he wants to I feel like Frank Wright still is a control freak, number one, but number two, I feel like Frank has something to prove because of what happened in Indianapolis. Part of me still thinks that. Part of me still thinks that's the reason why he will not release the reins over. But he's got to, because he can't be a game manager and a play caller at the same time. And it's ruining this offense because that's another issue, right? The clock management is an issue. We've seen it through this game. The clock management, the communication between him and Bryce on the field is an issue because he's too worried about the play calling. And then he forgot that one of his wide receivers that he's drawing up a play for, which is a play for one player, which makes no sense to me because the last time I checked, there's a team on the field and multiple players are out there. Right? So that makes no sense for calling up a play for one player. I need someone to make that right there. Make me understand. I want someone to make me understand why we're calling one play for one player. We should really talk about Icky. He really been disappointing this year. Always gives up a sack when it counts at the end. Yeah, Icky is going through one of the worst sophomore slumps I've ever seen, guys. Thank you for this comment, Black Mamba. I appreciate that. So let's talk about this real quick. Black Ike Ekwonu is probably going through the one of the worst sophomore slumps I've ever seen. He is slow off the ball. He's slow off the snap. His footwork looks like he's trying to do the cha-cha slide backing off. I'm not kidding you guys. It's bad. I mean, it's bad. And dudes who are, because you got, okay, there's a difference between edge rushers, right? You have a power rusher, you got a speed rusher, you got, there guys play, there's different styles to these edge rushers. And when a speed rusher comes into fruition, that's when he gets cooked because he cannot get off the line quick enough to block them on the outside. He gets burned every single time. But he doesn't do very well against power rushers either because they just push his ass off. And so he's going through a terrible, one of the worst sophomore slumps I've seen. His footwork is and stuff like that is slow off the line. Yes, we did it. Well, that was Pop Warner. You know what I mean, Seeker? That's what I'm getting at. See, that's why I'm saying make it make sense. How many losses do you think it would take for Tepper to fire right? I mean, listen, guys, if we go 0-17, you have to fire Frank Wright. Am I wrong? I know it's just his first year, but if he does not win a game, okay, what if he goes 2-15? Let's say he wins 2 games. Do you keep him or do you fire him? Let me know in the chat. I can start a poll. Here, I'll start a poll. Well, no, let's not start a poll because I'd rather you just type it in the chat. So all right, if we go 0-15, I mean 0-17, sorry, not 0-15. If we go 0-17, right? We don't win a game this year. Do you fire Frank Wright? What if he wins 2 games? Do you still fire him? We'll add that to the question. That's what I want to know from you guys. So chat, let me know in the comments if you think you fire Frank Wright if he's 0-17 or if he's even 2-15. Because that's the way it's looking at this point. And his arms gets weaker as the game goes on. Yeah, when you're throwing the ball 58 times, and you run and you start going away from the run, right? That's the problem. Our offensive line has done us no favors when it comes to these run lanes. Y'all have to think about that too. So when your rookie quarterback is dealing with running backs not being efficient running the ball, it does not help your team, right? Take the pressure off your rookie quarterback. It just doesn't. And when you are able to run the ball, guess what happens? You're able to open up the pass. But yet we are not able to do that because offensively, we are just not very good at running the ball. And it's the same way with our defensive line. We can't stop the run the ball either. This season, just less bright, rip it. I don't even know if he has the confidence to even rip it now at this point, Mad Chatter. I'm telling you, I feel like we have thrown this rookie quarterback to the wolves, and we are ruining him. I'm telling you, I feel like we are turning into the New York Jets all over again when Adam Gase was there and absolutely ruined Sam Darnold. Because I still think that Sam Darnold, if he in any other situation, I think Sam Darnold would have been like a Josh Allen if he never would have went to the Jets. I really do. I truly still believe in that. And maybe some of y'all are like, well, that's a hot take, but I'm telling you, I think Sam Darnold would have been another Josh Allen-esque kind of guy. Now, would he been as good as Josh Allen? No, but did he have the skill set to be? Absolutely. But the problem is he went to a place that was just absolutely and atrocious of an organization and a guy that couldn't lay off the nose beers to save his life. Because that guy's bug eyes was definitely because he was zooted out of his mind. Chase Claypool, anyone? We already talked about him. He's an option, but I'm not about it. Bueller, anyone? Chase Claypool's an option, man, but they're wanting like a third day draft pick for him, and I don't think he's worth it. You need to talk to teams that stink like Panthers. Raiders, Bears, Broncos, Giants, others, NFC stink. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely reach out to some creators. Don't even mention that name. You'll make it come true. It might happen. I've already mentioned that name though. Sideburn 21. Appreciate you joining, man. Right now, Bryce scared to death, scared to look. He shook. No such thing as Phil Gillies. Matt Chatter, I like what you were trying to go there with that. You remember the old Clear Eyes commercial? That's Frank, no emotion. Yeah, dude, that's another thing, man. Where's the emotion? Did we? Because I feel like we hired the white Todd Bowles. Am I wrong? Did we hire the white Todd Bowles, the guy who shows a no emotion when shit hits the fan? Right? That's what I'm seeing right now. When Andy Dalton played last week, Frank took the gloves off and Andy was slinging it. Yeah, because he has more confidence, I think, in Andy Dalton because he's a veteran. Andy Dalton has nothing else to prove, so he doesn't give a rat's ass. He can just go out there and throw the damn ball. But the problem is when you throw a rookie quarterback in, I think Frank Reich gets scared and he doesn't have any confidence in Bryce, and then he starts doing conservative play calling because he's a rookie. I think that's an issue. And he doesn't open up the playbook to Bryce's abilities. Yeah, it is common. It is very common. You start and build up O-line. That's where it begins, guys. You build within the trenches. That's where it starts. So everybody's saying to that question, 0-17, or if 2-15, you fire him. Probably going 0-17, not fired if Bryce improves. Maybe. I mean, you could fire if Bryce improves, you might not fire him. Mr. Clean saying fire him now. Marcos Cash is coming in saying fire Frank, fire Scott. The coach up in Detroit also started his career there with a very bad record, but they allowed him to grow with the team, and they are at the top of their division. Sideburn, that is true, and that is a positive note to some degree, right? And I appreciate that comment. I do. I have thought about it, that scenario as well. Fire Frank, hire DC Evero. I think you hire Thomas Brown. I think Thomas Brown's going to be a head coach one of these days. I'm not kidding you guys. I think the guy's got the swag, the offensive mind. I think he is the real deal. Panther Raider X, you're right. He doesn't know what to do because the communication's so bad between him and Frank Wright, right? I mean, that's one of the issues that we're dealing with here. Clock management. But he also, I mean, it's like I said, everything, there is issues to give responsibility to Bryce. There are some responsibilities that Bryce has to own up to too. But there's other things beyond Bryce that we have not done as an organization, but also as a coaching staff to not help him out. One, talent-wise. Two, play calling-wise. Simple as that. Yep, exactly. And then also your running backs not helping you take any pressure off of you because you can't run the ball. Right? I mean, I I don't know what's the point of defending him even if that's the case, Matt Chatter. That's not an excuse. You know what I mean? That's not an excuse. I want a QB who makes teammates better, not have to get players to make a QB player better. It's that I think Marcos Cash. It's easier said than done, though, right? I mean, any of y'all, honestly, though, in Q, if Q's still in the chat or if he's still here and he's watching, there is one thing that Q hit on a lot of good points last night in their show over there at the Black Cat Panther podcast. But there was one thing that I still think frustrates me with our fan base and others. I understand that you took a lot of draft picks to get Bryce, right? And it took, to move up to get for him as first overall, right? And then I just think even though you expect to throw this guy in and him to just be this stud of a quarterback who should fit right into any system that you put him in, I just don't think that's how it works, guys. I've never when Pat Mahomes got drafted, right? When Pat Mahomes got drafted, he sat out a whole year, if I'm not mistaken, behind Alex Smith before they traded Alex Smith away to Washington. And then Mahomes goes out there and shows him what he's got, right? But I've never seen a quarterback in the first round, drafted first overall, that just immediately went out there and balled out. You can't. I want to know what quarterback in the NFL did that as the first overall pick and immediately just balled out. I'm waiting. Chat, let me know. Let me know who got drafted first overall and immediately just balled out. Because it's not. I've never seen. I don't think there's a guy out there that you can name that was drafted first overall as a rookie and got put into a system and automatically just threw for 4,000 yards. Now, there's rookies out there that have thrown for 3,000 and stuff like that. Sure. But there's never been a guy out there that just goes out there, balls out, and throws 3,000 or 4,000 yards and looks like Pat Mahomes or some shit. There's never been a quarterback drafted first overall has done that. You can fire him all of me, get a young. I do not want McDaniels. I would not want a McDaniels type of guy. Maybe as an OC, but not as a head coach. I don't think Icky is smart to move the guard. He played left tackle at NC State. Yeah, he played some guard, but he's not a true left guard. I suggest sitting Bryce as well, like you said yesterday, because Mahomes sat his first year and look how he turned out. Exactly. Sometimes it's just better to let guys develop from the bench than it is to just immediately throw them out there. It just doesn't work that way. Certain guys just don't immediately just go out there and ball out their first year. It just doesn't work that way. It's not because certain positions, yeah, they do that, right? Like we've seen it in the corner position. We've seen it in the linebacker position. We've seen it in the edge rusher position. We've seen it in the wide receiver position, right? Running back position, but never seen it in the quarterback position that a guy got drafted first overall or even just a first round pick and was immediately made an impact and turned a team a playoff team or something like that. It's never happened. If you're not 100%, he's the next Peyton Manning. You don't trade up like that. You take the QB at 3, Stroud 2 seconds more. I want Mahomes and more. I want Mahomes luck. Listen, you get lucky sometimes, right? In these drafts, Drafts are a lot that has to do with some luck is involved, right? Right, but but other things have to also be involved as well to make sure that you put that guy, right, that you drafted in a successful situation. And I don't think our organization has done that. And you can't tell me that they have. By this roster, you can't tell me, because Scott Fitterer said that he felt like from top to bottom, Scott Fitterer said that this offseason he felt that top to bottom that this roster, except maybe one negative position, which he didn't mention which one it was, that this team is better than it was last year. But that team went 7-10 with an interim head coach. And we were also able to run the ball and break a franchise record in one game, which then made our offensive line finish top 10 last year. Our defense, I think, finished top 15 last year, if I'm not mistaken. So, again, another snake in the grass, another bullshit offseason evaluation from Scott Fitterer. And for all of you that think that Bryce Young was going to come in here and automatically light it up, you're absolutely made a fool. You should be wearing a clown suit right now. No offense. I mean, you want me to be honest with you? I'm going to be honest. But the Carolina Panthers front office did not make the right decisions this offseason. I can tell you that. And Bryce could be one of them, right? I will say that. To put that in the air, Bryce could be one of them. Trading up for him, but he might not be the guy, our franchise guy. That could come to fruition, guys. You also have to put that in the atmosphere and come to reality of that aspect. But we did nothing to help the depth from an offensive line standpoint, defensive line standpoint, right? We did nothing in the cornerback standpoint, knowing the fact that we might have two corners that are also very injury prone, right? Then you change up the defensive system and it doesn't fit certain guys like you see up here. One of them, Jeremy Chen, now Birds and Luvu, it's fine. It fits them fine. They fit in the system, but I don't feel like this system fits Chen very well. Dante Jackson, time to go. You're absolutely awful. Sorry. But in all honesty, guys, that's the way I feel. But when you also have a head coach who's a control freak, feels like he has something to prove, right? Who should be a game manager, not a play caller. Because what was the point of hiring Thomas Brown if he's going to be your offensive coordinator, but yet you're not letting him call the plays? Because the last time I checked, the offensive coordinator calls the plays and the head coach is supposed to be a game managing head coach. But you can still be a quarterback guy as a head coach, but you still have to be a game manager at the same time. That's why we have clock management issues, because Frank Reich chooses to worry about the play calling and not the communication with his quarterback and managing the game. But then if we want to also talk about anything, you've done no favors to use the skill set of Bryce Young. You've done no favors with the system that you're running on the offensive side. You've done no favors in that aspect of things either. You have to open up the playbook to your quarterback if you want to be able to for him to lead an offense onto the field and put points on the board. No offense to Tom Brady, greatest of all time, but he was a system quarterback. That's why New England was so good. He was. He's a system quarterback. All quarterbacks are system quarterbacks. Let's be honest. They're all system quarterbacks. Same thing, like I said, in the UFC. Styles wins fights. Systems win games. That's what I truly believe in. systems fit certain players. All right, let me get back in the chat real quick. Sorry, I went on a rant there. I'm not saying he'll ball out, but it's nice for him to sit behind a QB. No, yeah, exactly. I still think that that's the right move, though. Panther Raider X. You think Stroud would have struggled in our offense? I mean, there's no telling. That's something I can't answer because I don't know. I could say, nah, he's doing really good in the Texans, and sure, he's better than Bryce. I could say that, or I could say, yeah, he's still going to struggle. But I can't answer that question correctly, or I can't give you a full blown answer because I don't know. Because I don't know what the right answer is to that. No, but I don't want to hear he won't throw deep and he's 5'9" and all this. Yeah, then why we draft? Yeah, I mean, sometimes that S2 test is a bunch of bullshit, right? We can all admit to that. Sometimes the eye test is all you need, right? Listen, guys, I will be honest with you. I wasn't high on Bryce. I had Bryce third on my board. I actually had Stroud. I'm not going to lie to you. I had Stroud as my, I had Anthony Richardson as my number one guy. I wanted Richardson because I know he was a project, but I saw the athleticism. I saw the arm strength, and I was like, this guy is going to be good. Then I had Stroud because he's a typical size pro quarterback, and he's very accurate with the ball, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And we're seeing that now. I was not high on Bryce. I didn't want Bryce. So I'll be honest with you guys there. I didn't want him. But when we picked him, I rolled with it. I rolled with it because what else am I going to do? They're the one who picked him. It's not me. Right? So, it is what it is at the end of the day. Every rookie QB makes a lot of mistakes. Yes, even can have horrible rookie seasons, but there are flashes that you can see, and I haven't seen any of those flashes. I've seen flashes, Marcos. I can't say I haven't seen flashes. There is talent there. This last game was an improvement. You have to say that. I mean, he didn't turn the ball over. Yes, he didn't score, he didn't score any touchdowns, but he did improve. He didn't make any mistakes besides the fumble. He didn't throw any picks, but our team is still abysmal in the red zone. We're absolutely still atrocious in the red zone, but yet our team, our offensive line is, like I said before, and I'll say it again, our offensive line has done no favors to open up run lanes, much less protect him. I will say I think the Texans wide receiver core is definitely better than ours. I'll agree there. I've seen some. I think it's like at this point you have to. I think you just sit him. But unless you decide to trade Dalton. If he had both of our guards, maybe we wouldn't be 0-4. Maybe so. That could help. Obviously, injuries have been an issue, right? And not everything on the team has fell off a cliff. No, it hasn't. There are some bright spots on this team. I've mentioned them, right? There have been some bright spots, but there is a lot of concerns. That may be so he is not wrecked. When you bench for a year because it's going to be ugly, Dalton gives zero cares either way. He knows how to battle. Yeah, exactly. So, but Q is right about one thing because he did say something in the show last night when I was watching the Black Cat Panther podcast. He did say one thing against Seattle, even though Seattle's defense is abysmal in the game that we probably should have won. That's a game that we probably should have won. And I felt like this last game we probably should have won. We should really be 2-2 right now, I feel like, because we should have beat Seattle with how many injuries they had. We had a halftime lead against Minnesota this last game, and we blew that because of our offense couldn't put points on the board. But these were winnable games, right? A lot more winnable than obviously the Atlanta and the Saints game. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I think it's time that if you decide to keep Dalton and you're not going to trade him for any value, right? Then you go ahead and you sit Bryce for the rest of the year and let him learn that way. But I will say Q was right about one thing. If you look at Bryce Dalton against Seattle, he was able to get the ball to our wide receivers that Bryce hasn't been able to do. But I will say this last game, I felt that Bryce was able to get the ball out to everybody a lot more this game than he has in the against the Saints and in the Falcons game. I'm praying the 49ers let Wilkes go and Panthers say, hey, we want the man back. That's just a bad look on us, though, Panther Raider X. It's a bad look. I want that to come to fruition because I think that was the right move this all season. We should have signed him. But I also believe that it's a bad look as well. You know what I mean? He just needs to show some signs, and he's not ready to do that. I don't think he's ready to start. I don't either, but I definitely have seen signs that there is some playmaking ability there. Steve Wilson not looking bad. Nope, not at all. It's kind of hard to look bad when you have a defense like San Francisco has, though, guys. Let's be honest. The talent on the San Francisco 49ers right now, they're probably the best team in talent all around. They probably are the best team, if not the best. Blame Frank for 80% of failure. He's getting a lot of it, but I would say if I had to put it in a percentage format, I'd probably go 35% front office, 30% Frank Wright. So we're at 65%. I probably put 10% on talent and depth. Then I probably put a 10% on the other underachievement of 5% on the underachievement of Bryce. Right? No, I was at 65%. So 10%. Yeah, I'm okay. So 10% Bryce, another 10% injuries, and then whatever else I could put a percentage chart. Horn, it's personal, it's business. Your leg made of foam later. Yeah, it's time to let him go. No 5th-year option. Even Tom Brady couldn't do anything with our offensive line. Yeah. I personally would have passed on Drew Brees at 6-0, too short. Oh, man. I feel like if we picked CJ, we might have won 1-2 games by now. Maybe. We'll never know. We will never know, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to get all of your comments before I hop off. I wanted Stroud when he called himself a ball placement specialist. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you guys. AR-15 was my number one. Again, my number 2 was Stroud. My 3rd was Bryce. So, but I just went with it because that's who they decided to go with. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to hop off of here. I appreciate everyone joining this live stream. The link tree is down below with the Discord. All my social media is right here. It's in the Discord as well. Check out betusa.com. We'll go over that either Thursday or Wednesday when I do my week 4 picks. We'll put it in a nice little fun parlay for shits and giggles. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. As always, make sure you pound the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new content. Also, feel free to always get in the chat. I love chatting with you guys. But I am getting to the point where I have to hop off because I have to get back to my regular day job. But again, guys, I'm going to continue coming live. I'm going to continue giving you streams, going to continue giving you shorts. And as always, guys, y'all know what to do. Keep pounding. Peace.